Liam Gavin's debut film, A Dark Song, is my favorite horror movie of the moment. We're gonna go step by step, scene by scene. I'm gonna analyze what it says. We start with our protagonist, Sophia, played by Catherine Walker, looking at the house.
The furnishings can all be removed if...
No. I would want the furnishings as they are.
Okay. When would you want the house?
I'd want it immediately.
Have you been looking long?
I have.
There hasn't been anyone here for a few years. That's what you're looking for?
Which way does this room face?
This room faces west.
West. I want this house.
It's a one-year minimum contract, I'm afraid.
A year then. How much?
10,400, 800 deposit.
This is for you. For the paperwork. For privacy.
We see a Sophia that is very much focused. She doesn't care that the house does not have heating, which is mentioned on the script. And also there's a piece in the script that it's missing on the film and give us some clues. So there's a moment in which the sales, the real estate agent says, "This is a nice room for children," and she turns around and says, "There's no children." Okay, so she got the house. Now she's gonna meet Mr. Solomon.
You can do this.
You think this is an interview?
No.
Who else did you ask?
Michael Stoats, Ukemi Bantam, Alexander Paul.
Okay.
Are we going to go and look at the house?
Okay. The fucking house.
Joseph Solomon is eating a dish of eggs and chips, which tells you already a lot. He's a character that we're going to explain, but let's look at the imbalance of power between him and her. You can see him being quite rude. He could be inattentive to her, and she's pretty much submissive and waiting for his approval. It's a good moment to look at the character of Joseph Solomon. Now, Joseph Solomon, first of all, the name Solomon is a historical figure, okay, which is the figure that summons demons on the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. Okay, so the name already resonates. He's a what in the UK we call an anorak. Really, is a gay. It's a guy of probably some council housing. It's a low class person. By the food that he eats, by the way that he speaks, by the way he behaves, by the way he is intimidated a bit by Sophia, which is from a much posher background, although he hates being intimidated and therefore she despises her and treats her not very nicely. He's a kind of person that it's a classic profile or a classic archetype in male figures. Okay, he probably doesn't have much going on outside of the occult for him. So there's not much going on for him, but in the occult, he's really good. And men are hierarchical, so he has a big ego because of that. Also, he will tend to look down to other people, like the questions that she makes. He will look at them like children. And he will treat them as children, and actually rightly so, because he's just so high up. We are being told that in the script that he's a very hard to find person. Okay, the moviegoer will not know that, but he's actually persecuted. Okay, he has a background story that we don't see on the movie. He would have several failings of character and mistakes that he does because of the relationship that he has with her. There's clearly here a masculine, feminine, and low class, high class, which is important in Britain, thing going on. And the three failings or the three mistakes that he will do, in my opinion, are, first of all, he takes her on board with the Abermalen ritual, even he knows, he strongly suspects that she's not at all prepared and motivated, rightly so. But he keeps on having hope that that could be, and because secretly he's infatuated with her, which is very understanding. I would I would be safe to say that Catherine Walker is a bit of an eye candy, and actually there's a moment in which she takes off her shirt and the figure matches the countenance, and he hates himself for agreeing to do that with her, which he knows that he probably shouldn't have. But again, this attraction of this young, beautiful, high class girl. The second mistake he will do will be the sex scene. He justifies it by taking off of his mind the attraction that he has for her, but that's a mistake clearly. And the third mistake that he does is not breaking the news of Sophia's renewal in the bathtub, and not explaining that properly, and doing it in a very matter of fact, masculine way, which he cannot understand and leads to fatal consequences. Okay, so we've got a profile of the character, and now we're going to go to the first scene on the kitchen.
It's cold in here.
There's no heating.
There's no eating. You're not selling this.
It doesn't matter, does it?
What, the heating? Nah.
You're not having one? You started then? Purifying yourself?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
I've followed the diet. I've had no alcohol for 22 weeks. I've abstained from sex.
All sex? Masturbation as well?
All sex.
It gets tricky after a month, doesn't it? And the diet?
The last 27 days, I've only eaten between dusk and dawn. For the next 3 days, I'll fast completely.
Are you Protestant or Catholic?
I'm Catholic.
Catholic. And the right? The Abramelin, you're not fucking about.
No.
I've done this 3 times. Once it worked, twice it didn't.
It didn't.
Well, I was younger, you've got to have the right person. Why?
For love.
For love?
I love someone. They don't love me anymore.
Solomon's face when Sophia says that she's doing it for love says it all. Okay, his reaction is exactly the one that it should be. Like, you stupid child, what are you telling me? Okay, of course she does not do that for love. That's her um, her failings, and one of the biggest is that she lies all the time. Okay, and she's lying to him. She does not do that for love. And actually, she lies again in this scene, because if we go to the script, Solomon says at some point, "Reassure me you haven't been chanting any of the incantations." And so on, Sophia says, "No, why?" And Solomon says, "It would be unwise." And then it says, "I've done this 3 times," etc. But actually, Sophia, in a scene that it's not in the film, she's at her hotel, and not only is she eating pot noodles, which I don't know if it's in the diet of the Abramelin preparation, although she does it at night. She actually puts out all of the furniture in the hotel, and she does chant the incantations. So she's lying to him about why she's doing it and if she has or has not done the incantations. Okay, so my theory, okay, about Sophia is the following: is that she fakes her preparation. She's not at all prepared. She's lying to him. She doesn't comment to Joseph Solomon that she's been on a psychiatric hospital, because she's afraid that he would say no, which he should say no to her. She has done the ritual before meeting Solomon, therefore unguided and without protecting herself. And she does indeed attract some otherworldly presence, which is the old woman and child from the other world, her child. Uh, and I believe that I believe that in this ritual you do the soul thing, you protect your vessel, and then you travel. Okay, but because she has done the incantations before, and some spirits are around, specifically the one of the old woman, the child, and the dog. Okay, that's why she hears the dog even before starting the ritual. Um, it doesn't matter that Solomon does the protection of the house with the salt correctly, because the spirits are already there. So she's causing everything that will happen later by having done these incantations before, and therefore protection that Solomon has done will fail. Okay, it's not his fault; it's her fault. Okay, that's also why the scene in which he's praying and a door opens, and then a stomach goes at the floor upstairs, and she found the clothes at the floor and the token of her child. It happens before the ritual starts. So it's telling you that the spirits are there already before the vessel is protected, as they say in this film. Okay, so we know that Solomon, in his right mind, says, "Okay, this is just silly, stupid girl." He goes outside. She follows him. He doesn't even want to discuss with her. She said, "Give me my money. I'm going. I want to go back to London," which is the right impulse because she's just so silly to try to do that for love, as it would say now in the car scene, and nevertheless, when returning with the car, he doesn't get he does not keep a stern determination on getting rid of her, but and that's my theory because she is very attractive. He gives her clues as to what she, unconscious clues, of course, as to what she should say to gain back his favor and to get him to do the ritual. We'll see the casting.
You can do it by yourself. You don't need me.
That's rubbish. You need someone there. Someone who knows the procedure.
Who told you that, Michael Stoats? You girls, you stupid little posh girls. Abramelin procedure just to force love. It's like getting Titian to decorate a cake.
I love this person.
Get over him, just go on a fucking dating website or something.
You don't understand.
No, I don't. Fucking love.
Now the spectator and Sophia herself know why he will not take the job. And what she does, she tries to buy him. And finally, when she realizes that she must come to tell the truth, she lies again.
I'm gonna have fish and chips when I get home, that's what I fancy. Waste of fucking time coming here.
I'll pay you 70,000.
Doesn't matter.
80, it's all I've got.
You're not fucking listening.
My child died. I lost my child. He was taken from me and it was my fault. I have to hear his voice again. I need to speak to him.
Talk to your dead child. That might be something worth getting up in the morning for. Why did you lie?
I thought it would be too much.
Is it the truth? That's important.
It is. You get to ask for what you want too.
How much do you want it?
More than anything.
He says, "Is that the truth? Is important?" And she lies for a second time. And not only that, but she actually says, she changes. She tries to convince him by saying, "Oh well, you also get to ask whatever you want," but he's not interested in that. He's interested in that she's truthful and that she has the drive to push through the Abramelin ritual. Okay, now let's explore a bit the character of Sophia. First of all, Sophia is also a classic name, means wisdom, and in the Apocryphon of John is a historical character that, due to her ignorance, begets a hideous demigod that appears. So it also resonates with historical figures. She is a deep well of a person. Okay, she's very convinced of what she's doing, even if she doesn't really know what she's doing. Her motivations are very feminine and very red-blooded. So her motivations are best expressed when later tells to her sister, "Well, you've got a house with two children. I have a home." She cries looking at the picture of her son in the scene that it's not on the movie in the hotel room. She would do everything for uh, for what she really wants, which is vengeance. But she really doesn't know. Okay, so she's a person from a much posher upbringing, although £80,000 is not a lot of money. Um, but it's on her character. So she is very commercially driven. So that's why her first impulse is to say 70,000, 80,000 to Solomon. Solomon is there for knowledge. Solomon is there. He will take your money, but is what drives him is not that. Is that the ritual would be a success, that he would learn things, that he would fight the evil, as we will see later. She not. She's exactly what as he objectively sees her. A very materialistic by nature, not circumstance, and therefore she does things like that. She does projection and says, well, you also get to ask what you want, which is what she assumes he would want. Okay. Then they go back to the house and they're discussing the dangers of the Abramelin procedure in the kitchen.
I'm having the bedroom with a bed in it. You will cook and clean. You do know what we're taking on.
Yes,
You know the dangers.
I do.
This is a serious undertaking. It's not fucking astral projection or runes. This is real stuff we're playing with. Real angels, real demons.
I know this.
You read cunts on the internet saying it's just mental states, that you're guardian angels, your higher self. Psychobabble bollocks. So you'll go for days without sleep, fasting, back-breaking rites, ritual sex. You're at the very edge. Are you ready for all that, darling?
I am. I've read up on the Kabbalah.
You don't think this is a tree of Sephiroth, because it's not? You've been looking shit up on the internet. Root, this is Gnosticism.
I was told it was based on the Kabbalah.
It's there as grammar, a structure. The Kabbalah's an exploration of God. We're doing something much darker.
He asks her, "Do you know what we're taking on?" And she says, "Yes." No, you don't. You have not a clue. And also, you can look at the way that in which she replies to him, like, "Well, I've read that it was based on a command." She treats him like like you would treat a vendor of yours, somebody that works for you. Now, then we see a lake, a pond. We'll see that throughout the film. It is the deepness, the depth, the subconscious. Okay, and even in the scripts, there's sometimes in which on the lake you see reflected the house. Okay, it's specified and it's all throughout the film for a reason. Um, then we have a small um, scene in which he's DTing with, I believe it's a delirious tremens, and he hides the bottle of whiskey. Um, then we also see a little scene in which she looks at the photo of her son, which is what's driving her, and we see a token um, of her son. In the script is a Lego figure, but here is like a little um, elf or gremlin. Um, and she puts a chair on the door at night. Okay, that's a bit reflecting she does not trust Solomon. It's a bit of a class thing as well. Okay. Um, and now we're going to see the scene of the super. We see a very a bit of preparation. They're starting to prepare the house, and then we go to the um, car park scene, which is different in the script, and we're going to analyze as well in the script.
Sophia! Oh, thank God.
First of all, there's a cinematographic thing in this image of Solomon's extending his arms, in which we'll see throughout the film. It's basically the frame of the camera gets narrowed down into a much smaller frame where the action happens, and the rest is the house itself, and a dark house. We'll see that also in the bathtub scene, and that creates it makes the house one of the protagonists of the film, and it gives a very good feeling of anxiousness, etc., and horror, etc. Okay, so we see what happens on the film in the supermarket, but in the car park. But in the script, it's actually in the supermarket. And the text gives us a better clue of what's going on. Okay, so in the script, she just is inside the supermarket and she hears the woman saying, "Stay still. I'm sick of this. Stay still." And she just goes through to see what's going on. And the old woman says, "I don't get any sleep. Fucking dog. It's barking and barking. We don't want to go back." Where do we don't want to go back? I ask. Okay, that means they don't want to go back to the other world. I understand. Okay, and the child is whispering. We don't see what it says. And the old woman says, "No, she doesn't have a clue. The shadows, the spit, the shit. Stay still." Okay? And at the end say, "And there's There's nothing, and stay still. Okay, so she's describing these shadows, spit and shit, the the hellish world that we will encounter later when we go to the final house. Okay, so they're clearly from there. Another clue that they're from there is that in the dream that we'll see later, we'll see that this woman appears both with dark hair and with white hair. So the dark hair would be the woman that's actually in this world, and the white hair woman would be when she's passed, probably with Sophia's child. Okay, and also gives this sensation of that the child wanting to contact her, and the woman resisting and saying, "No, no, 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 stay still." Okay, we go very quickly to the conversation between the two sisters.
Have you told him about the psychiatric hospital?
I'm better.
You're vulnerable.
No, I'm not. I was not doing anything. That's what made me ill. I am doing something.
This stuff is black. It's
So
against...
you believe it now?
I believe in God.
What's that supposed to mean?
Is this something godly?
Imagine it was Lottie. What would you do?
Not this. There's nothing wrong with walking away from all of this. The kids miss you. They want to see you. Come home. We'll look after you.
You're going to look after me. My baby sister.
Don't be like that.
You see, that's the difference between your home and mine.
Soph.
You have 2 children. 2 healthy fucking children. I have a hole. And tell me, where is God? Where is his goodness?
Sophia.
I am going to do this. It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. You are going to keep away from me. Stay away. Is that understood?
In the script, we learn a few more things. We learn that she's been in a psychiatric hospital. We learn that her family has some problems. We learn the way in which her child was murdered. He had his throat slit and fingers amputated, which is the reason I believe she wants to take vengeance on his murders. And that's therefore is what she gets in retribution at the end. They want to cut her fingers, and after that we go into in the script, because in the film is in a different place, but in the script very clearly before they do anything, it comes a scene in which she's doing incantations in the house. Probably Solomon not knowing, and a door opens, and then she hears a stomp at the floor above, and when she goes to open the room, she finds a bundle of clothes on the floor and a token at the end of those clothes. Okay, so this is clearly to me a spirit that's doing that, and it's a spirit that it's not controlled. That Solomon does not know anything about that, and it's clearly the old woman and her child that have followed them to the house. And it's basically the child winning this battle with the woman in wanting to contact her, calling her attention and showing her the token, okay, which in the original script is like a Lego figure, but in this case it's like a sort of gremlin of plastic. Okay, so after that, they go to this bit of scene in which Solomon goes to take things from the lake to do the incantations and stones and stuff, and then they meet in front of the lake for the preparation of languages. Here it goes.
You done?
Yeah.
Votre français André très bon.
Il est. J'apprends français couramment.
Wie gut sprichst du Deutsch?
Ich spreche Deutsch.
Did you just lie?
No.
Look. Do you speak German?
I can make myself understood.
A half-truth is a lie.
I didn't lie. I speak German. I didn't cause that.
Everything has consequences in this.
I didn't cause that.
This has to be pure. Not just your intention, but your drive. It can go so wrong. There was always going to be something. I'll help you with your German. You just had to say. Go for a walk tomorrow before we're sealed in, eh? It's going to be months before you see this again.
Okay. What about you?
Me, I'll be all right.
Now, it is important that she knows French and German because, according to the script, there's only 3 or 4 people maybe that can do this incantation, and this is because the Abramelin procedure is not properly done, so it's not complete. So he has to fill the gaps with translations to do the whole puzzle of the procedure. And the languages are also not random. The Abramelin is the original text. This is an occult text. It is written in German, and then one of the first translations was in French. That's why he's doing these 2 languages. Now he tells her to go to walk before they enclose themselves into the house. She does it. She finds the dead dog, which is the one that they will be hearing, and they have been hearing. And actually, at the end of the scene on the script, she is both looking at the dog and hearing the spirit of the dog. And they go, and comes the scene in which they close the house. Now, in the scene of closing the house, this in the script there's a little bit more text, and it says, "It seals the house, will become a self-contained entity. It also seals against demonic attack from them getting into the house." So what the salt does is, it, to my understanding, I don't know anything about the occult. I'm agnostic about its existing, hardly leaning towards non-believing in it. So what it happens is the house is like sealed, and then I understand that in the rock procedure, she that is the vessel, firms the house into this world, and then when in the second circle, when they do the song, it's the traveling into the other world. Okay, so they're sealing that. The thing is that this is preventing from demons or spirits to getting in, but they are already in because she just brought them. Okay. Okay, so they do this little scene. We now see the last moment in which she goes, because the way in which he reacts and she reacts is very telling.
This is your last chance to back out. Once I complete this circle, no one can leave till the invocation's done. Not for food, not for emergency, not for anything.
Seal it.
This is one of the moments in which, in the script, a dog barks. Okay, at the end of that scene. Okay, so now they're sealed, and now they're going to start the procedure. Okay, on the morning, she sleeps in. Okay, wakes her up with the stool of water. And it's very good the reaction that they have in the kitchen, in which she again she just doesn't get it, is asking him to remember who's paying for this. And he reacts very angrily, because I think that he starts to realize that they seal the house, and she still doesn't get it. This is serious. Actually, throughout the movie, she keeps on thinking that, oh, maybe we should stop, maybe we should leave, when she's been told clearly that this cannot happen, and that's why he's so rude. Let's watch that.
So, magic squares. Essentially a grid where you make word and number sequences that add up to one whole, backwards, forwards, diagonally, etc., and used to change a state. Don't look at me like that.
Mr. Solomon, I'm not questioning you, but let's just remember who's paying for this.
I don't give a fuck about who's paying who. I don't give a fuck about the money.
£80,000 is a lot of money.
Do you know the ritual? Shall I leave you to do it? You will not argue back. I'm giving you what you want. I see it burn in your fucking eyes. You agreed to do whatever I said. I asked you.
I know, I was just...
You had the chance to back out yesterday, but the house has been sealed.
I'm not backing out.
Well, what are you doing?
I just want this to work.
I was going to work with posh little you in charge.
No.
Eat this.
It's a toadstool.
Have you been listening? Take it, do the ritual, talk to your guardian angel, talk to your child. Good.
What will it do?
You've been cleansed ritually, you're going to be cleansed physically.
Is it going to be horrible?
Yep.
Now, the movie differs from the script in that they put a dream that happens during the night, and they exclude the conversation on the morning, which I believe both would have been nice to be there. Actually, the film could be a bit longer. It's very trimmed. I think that an hour 50 minutes would be fine. The dream is the recurrent dream that she has, but we will observe that the woman that's taking, presumably took the child from a daycare center, has dark hair, and then when she's already dead, she's all wrinkled and with white hair. The bit in which she is just sad, robbed of everything in her life, which was her child, with her feet hanging, that's actually something that is described in the beginning, in a little scene in the script. Then we have the morning scene in which actually I will read that. Okay, so she's shaving him. Okay, and she asks, the last people that you did this with, what did they want? Solomon says one wanted extended life, one wanted wealth, and the other wanted revenge. And what did they get? And he keeps on shaving him. And Solomon says the one that wanted wealth got it. The one that wanted extended life committed suicide. And the one that wanted vengeance got lost. And she says, lost? Solomon says, there are risks. You've told me the truth. And she says, yes. At the moment that when that's happening, he's looking at her cleavage. Okay, so both is reflecting of both. First of all, the shaving him is a very potent image, but at the same time, she is demonstrating her failure, which is not having told the truth. Okay, because she wants vengeance, like the one that got lost, but lies and says that no. And he's showing his failing, which is her. Okay, looking at her cleavage. Now at the end, Solomon says, "Do you really want this?" And she says, "Yes." Okay, so then we'll be fine. Okay, so it's clearly not the case. Okay, so we will then see the scene in which they explain the ritual, which I very much like. It's probably my favorite scene. Let's look at it.
The circle is a paradox. No beginning, no end, but bounded. In each circle, there are 4 essential phases. We consecrate the circles, open the chamber with the magic squares, pass through. 5 circles, 5 elements, 5 realms. Now, the Abramelin, it's essentially a journey. That's a poor metaphor, that is, but it will do for now. This circle, this is the chamber of effect, element of wood, where we seal our vessel from the world, make it safe against attack. This one, the chamber of the song. We push off into the void on our journey, element of fire. The blackness, the boundless, where we sink into the abyss. The tangible, earth, metal, water, the cycle. Now this middle circle, this is nameless. This is where your angel will appear. You will ask your favour, and I will ask mine.
When will my angel appear?
Well, we'll be invoking the angel at every circle, but each time we move on, it'll grow more powerful. This world will be merged with other worlds. Others will hear.
When will the angel appear?
It can appear at any time from the first invocation. Most likely, 4th or 5th circle.
She's really quite annoying, isn't it? I mean, he's explaining the procedure and what they're gonna do, and all she wants to know is when will the angel appear, or no? So she has a very much a utilitarian view of things. Then they go to the rest of the house, because this main chamber, but there's other 2 chambers.
Triangle represents the divine order, 3. A whole divisible only by 1. The Trinity. It's where you gain focus. Stop you going mad.
This is the world of decay, of death. Brute fact. The square represents its form. The number 4, square of 2, a perfect number. This room is your urges, your baseness. It is where you will gain your steel. Break it.
So after the explanation of how the thing works, we'll start the ritual proper. Now, before that, though, do you remember the dream? So I shown you the dream as it is in the movie, but in the script it happens now after that, and it's actually, I'm gonna read it to you. So Sophia is half asleep in her sleeping bag. A low level whispering can start to be heard. It gets louder. Suddenly it shouts something distorted. Sophia's eyes flick open. In the center of the room, there is sat a child of about 7 with his back to us. He pushes a pile of clothes. Sophia is mesmerized. The child continues to poke and push. The pile of clothes shifts. It's clearly a person. It begins to turn towards her. A grey-fleshed old woman. Sophia snaps awake, sits up, and looks around the room. She is alone. Okay, so do you remember that image of the clothes on the floor and then the token of her child? So that is reflective of that. Like those clothes would be the old woman, and the child would be in the place where the token is. Okay, and basically that's, for this time at least, the child winning the battle with the woman to show himself to her mother. Now we start with the first circle, the Brock.
Feel its mass. It's unmoving. Feel its coolness, its stillness. Did you get to the loo? No talking. For the next 2 days, I'm going to unshackle the house from the world. You mustn't leave the circle. No food, no water. Focus on the stone I've given you. Fall into it. Swallow the pain and discomfort. On the 3rd morning, we will break for water and food. Then we'll do the same thing in the back 2 rooms. 6 days. I'll start squares.
And may all my transgressions be washed, and make me chaste and pure. May my light be here now, guiding me, protecting me. And may all my transgressions be washed, and make me chaste and pure, protecting me. May my light be here now, guiding me, protecting me. And may all my transgressions be washed, and make me chaste and pure.
Okay, so here is where in the movie we have this scene of the opening of the door, but we've put it on the correct place. And now we'll see the scene in which the kitchen scene in which she's doubting, or she's anxious as to whether the first signs of that the ritual is working will appear, and he's telling her that they are already there. She just needs to recognize them, and she doesn't quite believe him or doesn't know what to make out of it.
It's raining.
Outside's an irrelevance. You been hearing the dog?
The dog?
Yeah, there's a dog that barks at night.
No. Maybe. When are we going to know that it's started?
What do you mean?
And how do we know that something's happening, that it's working, that it's not?
That's what I was thinking about, the dog. We're miles from anywhere.
A dog? Shit.
It's begun.
What?
It's a sign. Synchronicity, that's a sign that it's beginning.
That's it?
That's how it starts.
It's just a bird hitting against the window.
A blackbird.
I can't see.
It was black. It was.
Okay, so we'll leave it here for today and we'll continue in the next video.